Hi, you're watching Floyd Steinberg's YouTube channel. Vangoa sent me the S55 MIDI saxophone for review. And if you think that's interesting, please enter.
Mr. Steinberg, it came to our attention that you were planning to review a reed instrument publicly.
Yeah, that's right.
You're aware of the regulations surrounding the public testing of reed instruments or electronic simulations thereof. Here's a paper.
That's a joke, right? We'll take a look at the hardware first, so let's ignore this for the moment. Here we go. So here's the S55 in all its glory, as you can see, compared to its predecessor, the S100. It's a much more sleek and slim design. We've got 11 of these touch-sensitive pads here, which you can use for playing. We've got a loudspeaker, which is fairly loud. It's comparable to an actual real-world recorder. And as you already guessed perhaps, there's a synthesizer built into this thing, so you don't need to rely on external hardware to play this. We'll take a look at the quality of these sounds later. There is a silicone mouthpiece now here, which can be used to protect both your lips and the instrument itself. On the bottom, you'll find there's an exhaust. This is used to wash out the condensation water which builds up when you play this, because the air in your lungs contains a lot of water. Let's turn this into the vertical position now. You can see there is a USB Type-C port down here, which is used both for charging and as a MIDI interface. And there's a headphone jack here, which is a stereo output. It can be used for both headphones and for line out. If you don't want to use this as a MIDI port, there's also Bluetooth MIDI built into this. I couldn't get this to work with my Windows devices, and I didn't manage to get it to run on Android. But I guess it will work on iOS, which has the best Bluetooth MIDI implementation at the moment, right out of the box. Okay, up here we will find a lot of buttons and this LC display. Here we have octave up and down switches, and here's an octave reset switch in the middle. I found that while I played this, the buttons were used temporarily, so I didn't need to use this reset switch. I just needed to release the octave buttons, but I guess that's a way to set up this behavior that I didn't find yet. Okay, let's go through this. The way this works is you first select the value you want to change. For example, here's the tone, which is the kind of instrument the internal synthesizer will play. There's a choice of 13 instruments here, and you can then use the plus and minus buttons to switch between them. We will listen to those in just a few seconds. Volume should be self-explanatory. Then there are two fingering styles. The first one is for saxophone compatible setups, and the second one is the recorder setup. I think every one of us learned how to play a recorder in elementary school, so you should feel right at home with this if you learned the saxophone or the recorder at some point in your life. Then there's the pressure sensitivity. You can set this up, how much this instrument reacts to the air pressure you employ on the mouthpiece. Then we have tuning. You can tune this up and down in halftone steps. The last one here is reverb. This has a built-in reverb. We will listen to the quality of that in just a few seconds. Okay, then there's a reset button. If you press this, you will reset to the factory presets. And there's an on-off switch. Yeah, and that's everything you can set up here on this panel. Now let's listen to some sounds and the reverb. In this example, I'm using the flute patch number 9. The S55's audio output is connected to a Source Audio Collider reverb pedal, which is connected to my audio recorder. I'll play over piano loop, and I will also add some piano sprinkles here and there. Fingers crossed, I hope I won't make too many mistakes. Here we go. For the next demo, I've connected the MIDI USB port of the S55 to my computer and a digital audio workstation. The S55 will control this clarinet plugin now, so the sound is coming from the computer here. By the way, I had to rehearse this short melody for hours. It's way more complex for an inexperienced player like me than it sounds. The last demo I'm going to do is with the hardware synthesizer. This is my Novation PEAK and I've connected the S55 with a USB hardware MIDI host. This patch is quite simple actually. The amp envelope has a fast attack and 100% sustain level, and the filter is closed. I've set up a mod matrix to make breath pressure control the filter cutoff frequency. I've also maxed out overdrive and added a lot of reverb, and here's how that sounds. All in all, the S55 is a pretty good EWI. For around 70 credits, you get a very playable instrument here. The internal speaker is at its limits quite often, and some of the internal sounds are quite artificial. But then again, I really like the flute and the trumpet patch. Bluetooth MIDI is a welcome addition as well. Playing this instrument is really easy. One thing the engineers could consider for future models is to replace the mechanical octave switches on the backside of the instrument with those touch-sensitive ones. While it's certainly possible to switch octaves quickly, it would be even easier if you not had to press down those clicky buttons. Yeah, and that's it for today. The Vangoa S55 EWI or electronic woodwind instrument. It's certainly powerful for its price. And if you think this was a good YouTube video, please do the YouTube thing. And if you want to, you can also support me financially on Patreon or Bandcamp. As always, thanks for watching and see you again very, very soon. And I think that suspicious looking guy is gone, so here's one more song.